Well, hello everybody, and welcome once again to this week's Jack's Corner. This video will be covering the results from Week 2 of the OKLCS. To recap, the games during Week 2 were as follows: Retribution versus Team Resolve, Diamond Win versus Landsneck, Venom versus Oklahoma Gold Rush, and Jubermensch versus the Road Crew. There were several substitutes in the first game we're going to be talking about: Retribution versus Team Resolve. Trotolor taking his talents to the jungle instead of the mid lane, with Hayabusa Taichu subbing in. Over on the side of Team Resolve, we had Perfect Grade subbing in for TRZ Trueheart in the AD carry position. While the players on both teams played exceptionally well, Thea and Sama went 12-2-8 with a total damage of 48,000. That was just over double as much damage as any single member of Team Resolve. While the game was indeed close at times, Thea and Sama just proved too much for TRZ to handle this game. Retribution was able to take the win, leaving both teams with a 1-1 record. The next game we're going to talk about was the game between Diamond Win and Landsneck. Diamond Win had the lead for much of the early game, but Landsneck was able to turn things around in their favor during the mid-game. However, after some well-played team fights by Diamond Win, they were able to take home the win, earning themselves a so far flawless 2-0 record, whereas Landsneck ended up 0-2. We'll now be moving over to Gold Capped as we start to talk about Venom versus Oklahoma Gold Rush. The game was fairly close at times and ended up being a 45-minute long game. Over on the side of Venom, it appeared that Darius, played by Cade Trillium during this game, was quite a factor, going 12-2-11. Another player worthy of note was Choke Me Dandy, who for the second game in a row did not die. While Oklahoma Gold Rush did their best to push back against Venom's snowball, Venom still did take the win. The last game we're going to be talking about is the other Gold Cat game of Week 2, Jubermensch versus the Road Crew. While the players on both teams played fairly well, the skill that Wild Hoffmeister displayed on Anivia was astounding, going 17-3-8 with the most damage in the game by a hefty margin. Wild Hoffmeister's play on Anivia definitely helped carry his team to their victory this week. Alright, now that we have the Week 2 recap out of the way, we're going to be moving to our next segment, Teamfight Breakdown with Age of Day 2.
Internet, good morning and welcome to episode 2 of Teamfight Breakdown. This week we'll be looking at a game from Diamond Capped from Week 2 of the OKLCS, Diamond Win versus Team Landsneck. At this point in the game, Diamond Win are attempting to set up for Baron, having superior vision and positioning in the area. Seeing Jax Kled in the top lane forced to clear super minion waves, they begin to look for a fight here with a 5v4 advantage. The fight begins when PBW's Gragas gets knocked into the enemy team by Chaos Thresh's Alistar using a pulverized headbutt combo. However, as this happens, most of Diamond Win's damage, Intense's Zillion and Katachi's Vayne, are on the opposite side of the Raptor Wall. Without the damage dealers there to threaten him, PBW's Gragas is able to calmly use Explosive Casca, split up the front line of Diamond Win, and walk out to rejoin his team. At the same time, Jax Kled begins using Charge in order to join the fight. Intense realizes his positioning mistake, but he wastes a lot of time walking around this wall in order to rejoin his team. Bad Cop places a great Glacial Fissure here, cutting off this corridor and zoning off most of Diamond Win. Placing a pink ward, Jack begins to zone out Katachi's Vayne, zoning him out of the fight. Tall Guy makes a mistake here, using Enchanted Crystal Arrow to try and catch Katachi's Vayne, when instead he should have used it onto OTC Imlo's Riven, who is now aggressing onto the backline of Team Landsneck. Had he used the Enchanted Crystal Arrow onto OTC Imlo's Riven, it probably would have forced his QSS, which he uses later onto the Concussive Blow Stun. However, in spite of this, good kiting from Tall Guy and Bad Cop allowed them to zone off OTC Imlo's Riven. On the other side of the fight, Jack has forced Katachi's Flash away from the fight, so he turns around to join his team in cutting down the front line of Diamond Win. As OTC retreats, Echoed Voice is aggressed on by the Unreal Obama's Cataclysm. At this point, he panics and makes a big mistake. He flashes forward here instead of backwards, where Tall Guy and Bad Cop could have potentially helped him. Having isolated himself from his team, Echoed Voice lands a light binding onto Katachi, but dies before Final Spark's animation finishes, meaning it deals no damage. However, Jack is able to pick up Katachi with a few auto attacks. Jack now begins to use his tankiness to stall while Tall Guy lifesteals off of the wolves up here. Jack's tankiness allows him to absorb a double bomb stun and allow Tall Guy to rejoin the fight. Chaos Thresh's Alistair and the Unreal Obama both use their knockup combos onto Tall Guy in order to stall as much time as possible. As OTC rejoins the fight, knowing that Chrono Shift is available, both Chaos Thresh and the Unreal Obama go down to the other members of Team Landsnake. Jack goes down to a time bomb here as OTC enters stasis. Using the speed boost from Zillion and the mobility of Riven, Diamond Wind disengage the fight, ending it in a 3-for-2 in favor of Team Landsnake.
Alright everybody, that's it for this week's edition of Jack's Corner. On Monday, August 22nd, we'll be streaming from 6 to 9 the Week 2 games, live and shoutcasted. Be sure to check us out on Twitch and come by and watch the games. That's it for now. Get wrecked, everybody.